Ohtani is about to toe the rubber. How about exactly how good he has been this season? Second Angels pitcher with 5 straight games with 10+ Ks. Joining Nolan Ryan. And overall MLB this season, how about that? Only guy with 7 games of 10+ Ks.
And he's throwing the ball even better each time out, where he knows exactly what he wants to do. How he sets up hitters is fantastic.
Here comes Shohei Ohtani out to the mound, taking on the Texas Rangers. His second start post All-Star break, looking for his 10th win of the season. Look at the numbers last 7, 6-1 and a 1.57 ERA, 69 Ks in 46 innings.
And he's touched over 101 miles per hour with his fastball. Even early in the game, he senses exactly what the team is trying to do against him, especially on the first pitch, next level. My go-tos for Shohei to have it working again tonight. Slider up and down for strikeouts. We're going to get into that a little bit more so in the game, where he can throw his slider upstairs and downstairs for strikeouts, and then power that fastball on the corner at 99+ miles per hour.
And he's going against the Texas Rangers, a team that has lost 16 games in July. That's 1 more than the Angels. They are definitely struggling, but at the top of the order, very dangerous. Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Jonah Heim has had success against Shohei. Then Lowe, Garcia, Taveras, Calhoun, former Angel, Cole Calhoun, Ezekiel Duran, and Josh Smith in left. Chris Woodward's Texas Rangers. They have lost 10 of 13. Angels have won 3 of 4, and back-to-back games in Kansas City to win that series. First series win in over a month. And how about this? Shohei is taking the hill, not following a loss for the Angels. 2 wins in a row. That hasn't happened since May 11th.
Yeah, the right guy you want to make sure to continue a win streak. Having David Fletcher back at defensive position at second base, I think his favorite position. He's been outstanding there. When you go back to what he did last year, .990 fielding percentage at second base for Fletch.
Only the 15th game of the season for David Fletcher, and welcome back. And first pitch to Marcus Semien is in there for a strike. Doesn't always start off hitters with a fastball, but does right there. Slow start to the season for Marcus, but starting to heat up offensively.
Interesting what he's trying to do. He's, as good as he's been with his slider and splitter, Marcus Semien hasn't been as productive against fastballs. .216 with 31 strikeouts. Shohei first 2 pitches, fastballs.
And now he's ahead of him 0-2. Hit well, and come on. And unable to make the play is David Fletcher. He gloved it, but on the transfer lost it. Sure, that's going to be scored a hit for Semien.
It doesn't happen too often where Shohei Ohtani gives up a hit 0-2, but he went with a fastball. Stats he wanted it elevated, was down. Fletch, 1 hop on the transfer, unable to make the play on it. The ball was hit hard, 108 miles per hour exit velocity by Marcus Semien, and it was on a fastball, but it was in the heart of the plate on a fastball.
Semien runs well. Wondered if Fletcher would be able to make that play. Welcome back.
You know there's a good chance right here with Seager at the plate. There's going to be a swing the first pitch.
Tries a get over curveball, just misses. It's Ron Kolpa behind the plate tonight, calling the balls and strikes. Corey Seager, 23 home runs. We're not even through July yet. That hasn't happened for shortstops in the American League that often.
Already using his cutter early in the game.
Well, you know, it's just a matter of time until that slider gets busted out here. Angels as a whole have been slider heavy. Starting pitching has been excellent. It's been 2 months since Shohei and the Angels have seen the Texas Rangers. Percentage of pitches thrown, first meeting versus the second meeting, 14% cutters. That was a big jump.
Yeah, especially because he can go backdoor with the cutter and get right back in the counts. That's what it was. The reason why he had a higher percentage of using his cutter. Seager's rolled into 5 double plays. Usually a guy that hits the ball in the air, and he hits the ball pretty well the other way. There he's breaking out the splitter. Usually his first split of the game is one that's elevated. It's good to see that first one of the game, even though it's not in the strike zone below. That means he stayed on top of his splitter.
15 of Seager's 23 homers have come off fastballs.
Texas runs a lot. Shohei, difficult to steal against. 2 stolen bases in 3 attempts. Only 5 overall stolen bases against Shohei in 9 attempts.
One of the most successful teams as far as stealing bags, the Rangers. 78 as a team. That one's hit well and up the middle. So the Rangers, a couple of hits to start this game off of Shohei Ohtani. Still nobody
Shohei
out.
backing up third base, no one with the shift on, and Semien runs well. Goes the other way on a curveball for Seager. Was upstairs, a little bit more of the plate than he wanted. And Seager only a .212 hitter versus breaking balls, but gets a curveball that's upstairs. Reminiscent of that game when the Angels were going back and celebrating the 2002 World Series team, where Shohei gave up 2 hits to start the game, and then all of a sudden it was over. He just got in that next level. See if Shohei, who's great with runners in scoring position, 175 batting average, can go next level against a guy who's had a lot of success against him in Jonah Heim.
Yeah. Jonah Heim, switch hitting catcher, moved up to number 3 in the Rangers batting order. Seems like we have ourselves just a slight little delay. Corey Seager needed something to help him slide. The oven mitt. Well, we know Shohei doesn't like to be kept waiting. We saw that in that last game that you were mentioning. So runners in scoring position as you see Shohei looking to work with PitchCom. As a hitter, OPS of over 1,000. That ranks first. As a pitcher, OPS on base plus slugging of 418. As a pitcher, that's first.
That's incredible.
Categories.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing at some point here where Jared Walsh would sneak in behind Corey Seager at first base and have max stats, especially with a left-handed batter at the plate. So you don't see it. You can have a back pick. He's got a pretty good size lead, especially anticipating maybe Shohei throws a splitter.
That's off the end of the bat. Looks like he's going to need a new twig.
Remember, he hit a grand slam on an 0-2 splitter versus Shohei. Left-handed batters, a little more success than right-handed batters against Shohei. 205 as compared to 199.
The last few series for Jonah Heim has hit the Angels very well. 375 in 7 games with 3 homers, 10 RBI.
Shohei's had just 3 double plays turned behind him. Remember, he hit a couple flares to left. You're seeing Brandon Marsh playing a little more shallow in left field and towards the line against Jonah Heim. You remember he had a couple of those that landed right on the line against Shohei down in Texas.
That is up and in. A wake-up call for Jonah. 1-2. Good fuzz on that 4-seamer at 98.
So Jonah Heim's probably thinking he's getting a splitter now. Slider hard to the plate, a couple of them. He had a pretty good hack at that one. See if Shohei can make a quick adjustment.
Heard you talking about that slider usage in the pregame show, Angels Live, about how the Angels as an organization are kind of living with that slider in the upper part of the zone. But if you're not perfect with that pitch, you can leave it right in the heart. Two on, no out. Here's the 1-2, and that's going to be a flare. That's going to get down for a hit. Marsh is there, so we have the bases loaded here. First inning, 3 hits off of Shohei Ohtani.
My Hyundai key for the game today, going a little ELO with Shohei on the mound. This little strange magic magic man on the mound as far as how he's able to be creative and be magical as far as getting outs. He's going to have to really be able to be magical to go through this inning, but the bases loaded here now, and Jonah Heim continues to torment Shohei. He's now 6 for 12. I don't think anybody in the game could say that.
No, probably not.
And another hitter at the plate that swings at the first pitch a lot, Nathaniel Lowe.
14 long balls for Lowe. Bases loaded for Texas.
For Shohei now, when you go back to that last inning in Atlanta, now in this first inning here, a lot of traffic against Shohei.
Semien at third. Seager at second.
And you're going to score runs today. So your mindset for Shohei, you love to be able to find a way to put up a zero. See if a double play ball would work perfectly. You just limit the damage.
Double play depth for the Halos. Give up a run to get two. There's a slider upstairs. PitchCom will, it's pretty simple, give you pitch type and location. Max Stassi with the controls, the 1-1. Another one, 1-2.
He's getting around his slider. And I know some of his sliders are by design upstairs, but that one was not intended to be upstairs. So getting underneath the baseball is compared to getting on top of the baseball.
That's an excellent stop there by Stassi.
It's a 93-mile-an-hour splitter from Shohei. Straight down, spiked it. Nice job by Stassi keeping that in front, though. Still feel you have options, 2-2. So you can use your secondary pitches. 3-2, that changes up.
He knows what's coming. They're in agreement. 2-2 coming to Lowe. Bases loaded, nobody out. Swing and a miss. Needed that one. Lowe strikes out. One down.
Backdoor slider. And varying the speeds on his slider. See it, read it. Tight enough spin on the outside part of the plate to get a strikeout. Big strikeout for Shohei.
Adolis Garcia is now going to bat.
And not an easy guy to double up, but a guy you could strike out if you get ahead. And that's important because he's up hacking first pitch.
He's driven in 61 for the Rangers. Look out. Off speed with the slider.
Looked like he was trying to throw his slider from a little different arm angle, and it slipped right out of his hand from the get-go. We had a real good view of that from even up here in our booth. And that's why you see Shohei going back behind the mound to make that quick adjustment both mentally and physically.
And you hear the grunt coming from Ohtani. This tight slider. Garcia swinging a miss, and it's 1-1.
So 21 pitches by Shohei here in the first, 10 sliders.
Could even hear Ron Copa call that pitch outside. 2-1.
Pretty patient at bat for Garcia so far. A guy that generally he's hacking, strong.
Semien, Seager, Heim. One out. Excellent pitch, 2-2.
Now that is by design up there. Good slider upstairs. The wrist, the baseball, upper part of the zone, pulled off at Garcia, hides it, and it's on top of him in that upper part of the strike zone. Really good follow through by Shohei.
Here's the 2-2 and another one. Upstairs with the slider, back-to-back Ks, 2 down.
Again, upstairs with the slider.
3 straight hits to load the bases and then back-to-back Ks. Shohei's looking to work some of that strange magic you were referring to. Leody Taveras, center fielder, with 2 down. Living with it. And Taveras has been a tough out, as you saw, 342 batting average. Smaller sample size, but swinging the bat hot right now.
And runs well. Puts a lot of pressure on the defense when he makes contact.
Switch hitter. Hit from the left side.
7 straight sliders for Shohei. Make that 8 straight sliders.
He has a chance to get out of it without any damage. And the crowd here at the Big A early in this game recognizes. It's great theater. Bases loaded, 2 outs, the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Ohtani gets it done. 3 straight strikeouts after loading the bases.
Little strange magic with the slider. Wow, slide piece.
Truly incredible. Bottom half of the first coming up.
Last time out, Shohei, talk about the creative one with the slider. First inning against the Braves, slider at 87 miles an hour, more of a flat break at the upper part of the strike zone. In the 3rd inning, that tight, hard 89-mile-an-hour slider to get a swing and miss. And then in the 6th inning, different spot in the strike zone, all 3 different pitches, all 3 different velocity. And then here in the 1st inning, a 90-mile-an-hour backdoor slider, followed by a 89-mile-an-hour slider above the strike zone, and then this one down and in at 90. So 3 different speeds, 3 different spots. Shohei showing why he is the creative one.
I love it, the creative one. 3 straight strikeouts. If you could, as you see Cole Calhoun step in there, just put it in some perspective for me, right? 9 straight sliders and 11 of his final 12, yet 3 straight strikeouts after giving up 3 pretty hard-hit baseballs for hits.
Trust me, it's hard to throw 3 good sliders in a row, let alone 9 in a row, to give up and get 3 strikeouts. And then there's another one there at 86. To Cole Calhoun, who generally, remember him as an Angel, does a lot of his damage in the 1st or 2nd pitches in a sequence.
Generally, does a starting pitcher, their slider velo is going to kind of live around the same amount. I know you threw different ones, different looks, arm angles, but nothing quite like we see from Shohei Ohtani.
The thing I like about Shohei and his slider, which is he threw another one, is because a slider is a pitch that you can manipulate the strike zone with. You can change speeds. You go inside, you go outside, you go up, and you go down, then strike down. And I think that's the pitch that's really resurging in baseball as far as pitchers. It wasn't that long ago. It was a 4-seam big curveball. Now you're seeing a slider because you can use it and change speeds with it and throw it to all 4 quadrants of the strike zone. You never used to hear that upper quadrant with a slider, but you can throw it there.
Why not again? 1-2. And he does. Calhoun fouls it off. The slider that we saw from Elvis Peguero on the road, game 2 of that 3-game series with Kansas City, his slider was tight at 93.
Yep.
He got 4 strikeouts. That was fun to see. Maybe we'll catch a glimpse of him here tonight in this series, certainly.
So he's thrown 3 splitters so far into the dirt. And hasn't even got a hitter to think about going after it yet. So at some point early in the game here, Shohei's going to have to show he can throw a splitter for a strike, and then he'll start getting swings at it.
thrown 20 sliders, 17 for strikes. Incredible. Here's the 2-2. Grounded and foul towards the Rangers dugout.
Another strike with a slider. Texas is making him work here early in the game, already at 33 pitches for Shohei. See that this moment just under 64% slider usage for Shohei.
Two coming to the former Angel. Calhoun, swing and a miss. He struck him out. That's 4 in a row for Ohtani.
And again, he went upstairs with his slider. This is a 90-mile-an-hour slider upstairs. And you see that as a hitter, you think you can catch up to that, but it's tough. If you make contact, you're popping that up. And Shohei thinking, you know what? I still want to be a little tighter slider on that one. You know you're good when you're thinking, I could have did a little better, but he got a strikeout with it.
One down here in the second. There's Ezekiel Duran. Just misses. On deck is Josh Smith. Both Duran and Smith acquired from the Yankees in that Joey Gallo trade. One and one.
So he's throwing his slider as fast as 90.4 and 84.2. You're talking about 6-mile-an-hour separation in speeds of just one pitch.
That's popped up. Left side. Velasquez calling for it, and he has it. Let's show you this Angels defense as we have 2 outs here in the second. Brandon Marsh and Magneuris Sierra, and center Taylor Warden right. Well, Sierra made a great catch yesterday. Luis Rengifo, Velasquez, Fletcher is back. Jared Walsh at first, and behind the plate catching Ohtani per usual, Max Stassi.
And it's good to see Fletch back out there defensively at second base where he's been so good. First game since May 7th. Reaching a .990 fielding percentage last year. Also 86 double plays at second base turned by Fletch, third best in baseball as far as second baseman fielding percentage last year.
And Josh Smith steps in there, 9-hitter for Texas.
By the way, Shohei decided to use his defense finally into the game.
Yeah, and that snapped a string of 4 strikeouts in a row. Just a pop-up. Just got to keep him interested. Nevin was asked about the return of Fletcher, and just saying, just having him back, the smile, having the guy in the clubhouse, he brings a spark and an energy and enthusiasm. It was great to see him. He looked at you, looked at me, had a smile on his face. It's awesome to have him back.
A huge fan favorite.
Huge.
David Fletcher, local boy.
You know, was putting out a couple of tweets about it being showtime and show day, and people were like, hey, let's not forget David Fletcher's coming back. And you're right.
A couple of those borderline pitches not going Shohei's way. Looked in, and Ron Colpus caught a couple of those for Howard the other way. So Shohei's going, hey, what about me? And they were balls. He made the right call on that one.
I don't see him saying mea culpa, just trying to lay down a bunt, but misses, and the count's 2-2.
Gives Shohei now with the count even up to be able to go with his slider to get a punch out.
So 3-2 without a doubt. Shohei's pitch count, something to keep an eye on. Already at 42 here in the second. If you're just joining us, Rangers got 3 consecutive hits. Started off by that man, Marcus Semien. in the first, and then Shohei struck out 3 in a row to get out of it. It's 4 strikeouts so far in the game. Looking for 5. And he got it. Simply marvelous. Shohei Ohtani. I mean, Sugoi. No score as we head to the bottom of the second.
Out of the Angels game said Denny McLain back in '68 when he won 31 games said he threw a ton of up and away sliders to get strikeouts. And here you have Shohei Ohtani up and away with a slider above the strike zone getting strikeouts. It's amazing. Hall of Famer Jim Palmer checking it out. You're seeing with the sliders for the first couple of innings, 5 strikeouts on a slider where they're at above the strike zone, upper part of the zone, and 1 down lower third.
So Jim Palmer, Hall of Famer, texts you, and then our crew has the footage of the high slider of Denny McLain the year he won 30-plus games and the Tigers won the World Series, and then you just had it on the air.
I mean, it's amazing when you're seeing that, and we're in agreement. Part of the reason is because of the launch angles here we're seeing in the last 2 seasons. It's hard to get to that slider upstairs. And the creative magician, Shohei Ohtani, using that.
The one, Shohei Ohtani. Simeon led off the game with a single, got as far as third, and that was it. That's in there, 2-1. Pinpoint accuracy with that cutter.
Couple cutters in a row for Shohei. That one at 93. So you're not seeing a splitter usage a lot. You're not seeing him throwing it where he has a good feel for that yet. But then when you have a slider like that, maybe you don't need that feel for a splitter at this point, but you know he's going to use that at some point, especially against some left-handed batters.
It's safe to say the field pitch, without a doubt, is that slider. The 3-2, and he's going to pop him up. David Fletcher, welcome back, one away.
How much ground he covered to get to that pop-up because of the defense way set up the shift on. He was over on the shortstop side of the bag.
Well, he called
see
it.
Those hips are good. Yeah. See where he's at. Look how far he's got to go.
Stretch him out. Abductor surgery right and left. He's missed a lot of time. Corey Seager always hacking early, but doesn't bite. Angels have altered their rotation. Sandoval is going to pitch Friday. It's now Chase Silseth on Saturday. Detmer is pushed to Sunday, and that means Noah Syndergaard is going to slide to Tuesday. This was not to protect, according to the Angels, not to protect Noah's trade value, but to protect the rotation.
And also to give Reed Detmers a little bit of a breather as he's getting more and more starts in innings pitched at the professional level, the major league level, where he's throwing the ball exceptionally well, 3 starts in a row. And I mean, Matt Weiss has done a great job of getting him back, Detmers back to where he needs to be, where he could be that really good, dominant left-handed starter they need.
And it gets over the head of Fletcher, and that's another knock for Corey Seager. He's 2 for 2.
So for a guy that doesn't hit breaking balls real well, this 212, he's got 2 hits, 1 on a curveball, 1 on a slider.
And now Jonah Heim, who, as you pointed out, in his career, has hit Ohtani extremely well. Who could claim more than 10 at-bats versus Ohtani and a plus 500 batting average? This man can. 6 for 12. One of those a grand slam. From Buffalo, New York, Jonah Heim.
He's fallen behind all three batters in this inning. After a ton of strikes, even though a lot of pitches thrown coming into this half inning for Shohei.
If he ever has a daughter, should consider naming her Anna. Anaheim, get it? There's one, back to first, double play.
That's a great play by Andrew Velasquez. That was a tough scoop, and he made it look routine. Gets it on the backhand for Walsh. Quick throw over to Andrew Velasquez. A tough one, routine, strong throw. 3-6-3, double play.
Of the fourth inning, Shohei Ohtani on the bump. And you look at the highest percentage of breaking pitches. First pitch of the at-bat, Ohtani second only to Nestor Cortez in baseball. And tonight, right about that number, 7 of 12 on his first pitch. But he's only hit 3 of those first pitches for strikes.
Yeah, he could throw his slider, his curveball for a first pitch strike, and his cutter. So they all go into that category of breaking pitches.
Leading off the fourth, Nathaniel Lowe. He stepped up in the first with a great opportunity for the Rangers. Bases loaded, nobody out, but he was the first of 3 strikeouts in a row for Shohei.
That's another break a pitch, first pitch. That time he threw a curveball just above the strike zone.
Interesting to see the sequence here for Ohtani versus Lowe. Shake off. Started with the curveball cutter. Here's the 1-1. That one's hit well towards the gap. Taylor Ward goes over, plays that off the wall. No, that's going to be a home run over the line. 1-0 Rangers.
Got a slider. Was down. Hit it on the line to right center. 15th of the season. Second home run versus the Angels this season. 11th home run the Shohei has allowed. 6 to a left-handed batter, 5 to right. He went down and got that one and get exactly where he wanted to throw it. Just over that yellow line.
That's a wall scraper, but it's on the board. 1-0 Texas. Garcia with nobody out here in the fourth.
There's a fastball at 97. He hasn't thrown a whole lot of fastballs here today. This is 10%. His four-seam fastball, curve at 5, splitter at 5. His slider at a little over 60%. And one thing, when you throw, even though as good as his slider is, every once in a while one of those sliders gets flat, and if it's in that middle to lower part of the strike zone, that goes to the barrel of the bat, and that's the one that's hit hard and has a chance to go a long way. And that's what Nathaniel Lowe did, and that right there to Garcia, danger zone. Adjustments that Shohei makes are really, really good as far as quickly going back to getting in a spot he wants to throw it.
And a strikeout to Garcia. Number 6 for Ohtani. One away.
That was a quick adjustment. Wow. That was a nasty, tight slider. That spin. Perfect spot.
How much more effort goes into for Ohtani to throw 97, 98 versus that tight slider right there?
It really all starts with his lower part of his body. He uses his legs and pushes off the pitching rubber. His bottom half is so strong, and that's where he generates the arm action to be able to do those type of things with his fastball and his breakable. Look at how he drives to the plate.
And that drive leg is the leg that he fouled that baseball off. Guarantee there's still a bruise there.
But by the way, how impressive that slider. 26.86 spin rate on that last slider he struck out Garcia. That's the highest of the night. That's one of the highest spin rates for Shohei this season. So that was a tight, hard We used to call it late break at the plate. That was true late break at the plate for Shohei for that strikeout.
And another one.
There's a split. Finally get to see the split.
And 7 strikeouts for Ohtani. 2 down here in the 4th. 1-0 Texas. And you said he's going to have to throw it. He's going to have to show it. Oh, it's nasty. Ohtani's like, yes, he did. Here's Cole. 11 homers, 43 RBIs for Calhoun. 99 in there. Is there a better sound, by the way, of baseball hitting the mitt at 100 than that?
Especially when you can spot it like that, too.
Wow.
Now he's starting to get that feel for the splitter. That was a perfect splitter. Came right back with another little harder, overthrew that one just a bit.
It's like he's suddenly having fun with that pitch. He's like, you know what? Let me just go to this now. This feels good.
He couldn't get Cole Calhoun to chase the splitter down in Texas, as I remember. He got the one strike split he got to swing at, but he didn't go after in the 0-2 one. See if he could try to paint a fastball away. Looked like he might have went on that one.
Yes, he did. That's 8 Ks for Ohtani. And a duck on the throwdown from Stassi. There's just nothing like him in the game. However, Texas does touch him up for a homer. It's 1-0.
Here at the top of the 5th, we talk a lot about spin rates, and you're going to see the difference between a tight, high spin rate on a slider last half inning for Shohei at 26.86, well above the average how tight and sharp that break was on a slider. Now look at the spin rate on a split. Doesn't have generally a lot of spin. It's just going to go, and then bottom drops out. You see the rotation, not a whole lot on the seams at 13.23. Almost double on the slider to compare to the splitter. And when you hear that, we talk about spin rate, you can see that almost a dot of the seam on a slider. On the splitter, it's almost as if it's a knuckleball. You're going to see the entire rotation of the seam, but then the bottom drops out.
It is magic. It's a great illustration. I mean, J.R. Richard had an insane slider.
Yes.
Where do you rank? I mean, that particular pitch you just showed and illustrated looks like one of the best sliders in the game. It really does. Oh, does he get the call? I mean,
it's a good fastball right there, lower part of the strike zone. Hasn't thrown a whole lot. It's a good spot. Real good spot on a fastball four-seamer.
And Duran reaches for it. Walsh is there, and one away here in the top of the 5th.
Go back, you mentioned J.R. Richards, Dave Stieb, David Cohn. Tim Salmon talked about him today as far as sliders. And Shohei, all our conversations early on was his splitter, how devastating it is. And it has been really, really good. But his slider is going next level, where he's in that same conversation with the best in the game as far as sliders, and then back to one of the best sliders for people that dominated with that pitch years ago.
Oh, that's going to get through. That's a hit for Smith. I mean, right to the shortstop position, but the shift was on, so 1 on. Season breakdown for Ohtani. First 11 starts, that four-seam usage at 34%, slider usage 23. It has flipped in the last 5. He's been very successful. Why do you think he's flipped it?
And part of it, he uses his fastball really a lot when you go pitch it backwards. In breaking ball counts, that is when he's used his fastball. And he's touched 100+ miles an hour a number of times of late with his four-seam fastball.
73 pitches. Slider usage has gone down a bit. That's going to be helpful. You know, with Marcus Semien up there, he's got power in the bat. First pitch, pop up to Stassi, 2 away.
That's huge to be able to get a quick 1 pitch out, especially with the pitch count at 75. You remember last game out through 6 innings, 71 pitches he threw, 11 strikeouts against the world champion Atlanta Braves.
Nevin was talking about that, and he said, maybe, you know, he left him out there too long, but he said Ohtani didn't want me to take him out. So, you know, you go out there to the hill, as you see Nevin, also a former Ranger, Phil Nevin.
He had trust in what Shohei told him, and you know what? If he makes the pitch where he normally would throw, that's the right decision to do that. Your best option, Shohei. Smith has 3 stolen basemen, caught twice. Shohei, very, very quick to the plate. Stassi has thrown out 20% of base stealers. I don't think they're going to go here with Seager at the plate, though. That's why you don't go right. You're Texas when you have a guy like that swinging the bat. He's already got 2 hits in the game. And you keep that hole open, even though with the infield shift with Fletch out in shallow right center, you still have Jared Walsh holding on Smith. So you have that hole there. Good cutter right on the hands of Seager. Now Seager over the years will chase a slider down and in towards the back foot. Grunt split. That's a pretty good split. That's an even better take by Seager.
AL shortstops most homer in a single season through July going back to 1953. Lindor in 18 at 27. Rico Petrocelli in 69 at 26. And then you have Corey Seager tied with Tejada and Bogarts with 23. And he is.
Read that splitter a couple times. Already 2 hits on breaking pitches today.
There you see that list. I mean, they invested tremendous amount of money in just Seager, and then a day later, Semien. Now it's a big moment here. 2-2, 2 outs, 1 on. Seager coming up a little bit gimpy after that foul ball off his leg.
That's that down and in slider. Ooh, almost the calf area.
Unless he's got padding underneath the pants, that hurts.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Shohei try that one again down and in, whether it's a cutter or slider.
Corey Seager staying hot here in this game. That one almost to the wall. Sierra does a good job to get it in. Smith all the way from first is going to score. 2-0 Texas on the RBI double from Seager.
Got a curveball, 3rd hit versus a breaking ball today for Seager. They stayed hard to the plate. Sierra did a nice job of cutting that off, getting as quick as possible. And Smith with great speed scores all the way from first.
Now Smith has 1 home run, and that was an inside the park home run earlier this month at Oakland. So yeah, he could fly. Thought maybe they would have a chance after Sierra cut it, but pencil in another RBI or in pen for Seager. He's got 54. Now Jonah Heim. singled and hit into a double play last time up. That nice 3-6-3 turn.
Still out there battling Shohei. Look at got the throwing hand of Max Stassi. That's a 93-mile-an-hour splitter.
Most consecutive games, 10-plus strikeouts, Angels history, hoping to keep this alive. He's got 8 tonight, and he has had double digits in 5 consecutive games. Only Nolan Ryan in 72 and 73 with 6 different occasions, and in 77, 7 consecutive games with 10-plus strikeouts. The Ryan Express. And, well, 9. That's going to get him that much closer. But another one comes in for Texas, and they have a 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Strikeouts, he has 9, and Gooby, all of them swinging.
And a lot of these are sliders that are upstairs, a couple in the lower part of the strike zone. Mixed in a strikeout with his splitter. But that slider has been really good, especially that upper part of the strike zone where he's got chases. And it's been good, as usual, for Shohei. There's that one against Jonah Heim, who's had a lot of success with a slider upstairs, get strikeout number 9 of the night for Ohtani. Getting close to that point where you're thinking, try to get at least one more inning out of Shohei Ohtani. He's leading off the next inning, top of the order, so he's trying to do whatever he can to get through this inning, put up a 0, and give him and his team a chance to win this game.
Yeah, 1 away from double digits in strikeouts for the 6th consecutive game. The only number that matters to him is the one that ends up in the win column. Can promise you that. First pitch, and that's the man that homered last time up. Low, and that takes a funny hop in the corner, gets past Marsh, and Lowe's going to get all the way to third on a triple. An awkward play in the corner in left field for Brandon Marsh.
Went four-seam fastball, went with the pitch, generally swinging. He just shortened up and made some contact. He allowed Shohei to provide the power. That hit awkwardly off the padding of the wall. Hopefully Brandon's okay. That's an awkward fall as he tried to get to that baseball and cut it off. It checked up and went the other way off the padding. Forcing the infield in now.
Adolis Garcia takes a strike. Got some aggression out on that fastball.
Well, the momentum shift. You have man on second, no outs. The start inning, don't score, and right away they come right back and get a triple to start the inning.
Gets ahead of Garcia, 0-2 with that slider. Ohtani started off this game and on the ropes, 3 straight hits, and then got out of it with 3 straight strikeouts. The 0-2 off the plate. Ranks among starters in baseball. Pitchers counts when he's ahead in the count. The whip 0.43 is 7th, and the whiff percentage is 1st.
And he needs that whiff right here. Give him a shot to get through this inning here. Right guy at the plate. He's got a strikeout in his game. 112 on the season for Garcia.
And the strikeout. just what he needed, and that is 10 double digits once again for Shohei Ohtani.
That's another one of those tight, late breaking sliders. Looks like a strike, ends up well out of the strike zone.
6 consecutive start. 6 of 10-plus strikeouts. That's the second most in Angels history to Nolan Ryan.
That's 100.
Oh. Yodi Taveras has also struck out twice.
And the one thing with Shohei, you think maybe you drag bunt or try a safety squeeze, but Shohei fields his position so well, you've kind of taken that out of play as a hitter.
And ahead 0-2. Ohtani's done a number on the middle part of this Rangers order. Garcia 3 Ks, Taveras with 2, Garcia was on deck with 2. That's 7 of the 10. 1 pitch away from 11. $100 again. It's almost like when he knows that finish line for him is coming, how he just ramps it up.
If he tries a splitter after that 100-mile-an-hour fastball, get a punch out.
Now he got a punch out right there with the splitter. It's like you're in his mind. Our Carl's Cam replay is going to focus on the last 6 wins. Ohtani punctuating a win by striking out the final batter he's faced.
And he knows, and he has that extra gear to go to when he's getting close in as far as on the pitching side. Shohei bringing the gas this inning, and he has done that in his last 6 wins. And there he was here today. Slider, now splitter, trying to get through this inning. With no damage, but a tough hitter in Cole, especially when you look at the first or second pitch against Calhoun.
There's a leadoff triple by Nathaniel Lowe. He remains at third, now 2 outs, well outside. A shift on to the right side. Fletcher in short right. Garcia's punched out 3 times. Taveras 3 times. Calhoun twice so far. Oh, there's that 101.
Yeah, you know it right now. Shohei knows he's got to go to that next level, next gear to get through this, especially with Calhoun at the plate. Now able to sit on a pitch if you're Cole Calhoun against Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, insane. Go from 101 to dropping that paint slider to get back in the count. And we're living with every one of these pitches. The Magic Man. 100, swing and a miss, 2-2. Absolutely fantastic.
Got 2 pitches in this sequence against Calhoun of 100 and 101. Splitter at 91. Well, if you feel if he gets through this inning, they're going to win this game, the Angels. Gets through this one, they're going to get that energy from the crowd if Shohei can do it.
Here's the 2-2. That one's driven towards right field. That one is hit pretty well, but Taylor Ward is there, and Ohtani gets out of trouble. Leadoff triple, strikeout, strikeout, fly out.
Love that energy, Shohei. Next level Shohei. No damage in the inning.